The fact that John Moore said he'll be in front somewhere late. And on this course, if you're in front somewhere late, there's a big chance it's hard to pass. So I'm going to keep an eye on him. And if he could be a value runner because everyone's obviously on military attack.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the big name, I think, for the race is Pastorius. And we couldn't catch up with the trainer at the barrier draw. He sort of snuck away from us and missed us. But we did get Cadeaux, the groom, and the regular track rider of this guy a little bit earlier on in the week.
Travelled really well over. He only lost 3 kilo and we were very impressed because he travelled for the first time and he set it down lovely. He feels really well, he eats well, temperature is good, he feels good in the work, and we're really happy and looking forward to the race now.
Obviously the effort just a few weeks ago in the Cadeaux was very strong. Have you had to do much work since you've arrived in Singapore?
No, because he's very fit, you know, and we have been very impressed with the way he ran in Longchamp. And he's a horse what doesn't need much work, you know, and my trainer wants him just to keep fresh. So that's why we had the last 2 days a slow canter, just take him around like the way he wants to go. Today we went a bit longer, a bit quicker, but just as I say, just live the way he wants to go. You know, on Friday we want to go a little work. On Saturday we give him a walk around, keep him fresh, and then we're looking forward to the race.
His win in France was very fresh. He hadn't run since Ascot. This race is a little closer to the Longchamp race. Is that going to suit your horse, or is that a negative, or is anything?
No, I don't think it's going to be a problem for him, you know. And like I said, he didn't lost much, you know. After the race in Longchamp, he lost 10 kilo. He put the weight back on. We flew over here. He lost 3 kilo, and I think he put the weight back on again. So he's really well, you know.
What will be his pattern of racing here in Singapore, do you think? Obviously a lot tighter circuit than Longchamp. Do you expect him to be midfield or getting back, or where do you expect him to run?
I think we're going to run a bit closer, you know, want to get handy maybe in second or third position. What will suit him is that we get a good pace, you know. We didn't expect a good pace in France. That's why we put a pacemaker in the race to make sure it's going to be a good pace. We're going to have a pace here, and then he will be handy in second or third position, hopefully.
And so far we haven't had a lot of rain this week, so the track will be good to firm. Is that suitable?
Yeah, I think he has no ground problems at all. He can handle soft ground, but he also runs well on good ground. You know, it's no problem for him.
Since that interview, of course, earlier in the week, it's bucketed down on Thursday, but we're still going to have a relatively good track because of the renovations that were done through March.
Well, I think a few people were here last year half expecting it to be a yielding track, but this track's going to be protected right up to the day, and it would take a lot of bad luck and rain at the absolute wrong time, I think, to get on a yielding track. And not to say it can't happen, but this track this year is 100 times better than it was last year.
For sure. Pistorius, I think, is the biggest name we've had for a while here in Singapore, coming off of Cadeaux. And I must admit, for the last 2 weeks, I've just been waiting for the email to come through and say they're not coming. Because Dunedin came through the same race. He was nominated. They decided not to come. It's a long way to come out of here after winning a race like that when there's Ascot and a few other options. So I think it's huge that he's even here.
Well, Cyrus Desagli won that race last year, didn't he?
And pulled the pin.
And then that email or phone call came through and he didn't come. Now Pistorius is here. They did put that pacemaker in the race, as was pointed out by Kay Barnhoff.
Yes.
And to keep the pace true. I'm sure if Joe does go to the front and ready to strike, he's not going to, try and run along too swiftly, which mightn't suit Pastorius. The little bit of a dilemma he's got is the barrier. So he doesn't want to be caught 3 deep, but on this occasion you can see horse in the same colours in front. That was the pacemaker. He sat back about third or fourth. Kay Barnhoff suggesting that they want to sit second or third in the run here. From gate number 11, they're probably going to have to use up some petrol tickets, but he was strong and he was challenged, Craig, and he was able to fight off the challenger.
Yeah, he fought very strongly, and the horse in the yellow with the noseband, Larry, is a Melbourne Cup winner, didn't he?
Yep, and that form obviously we can take into Red Cadeaux, who almost dead heated with Dunedin a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so that was a really strong win. A France Group 1 winner in this race, and yeah, I think he brings enormous credentials to the table. You're talking about Red Cadeaux. We might roll into an interview with his assistant trainer in Robin Trevor Jones, who we also caught up with after the barrier draw. Red Cadeaux drawn in gate number 7. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. We thought between 4 and 6, so 7, we're not far away, are we?
He's coming back from the tennis show, 3,200 metres. How's he done this week leading up to this 2,000 metre race?
He's done real good. You know, he came to from Japan quite fresh and well. He's done everything we've asked him over here. This morning we did a bit more, and it was a beautiful morning to do it. We've had plenty of rain on the track, which was nice, and it was quite cool outside, so he's not really got very sweaty either.
will you be happy then if it continues to rain, or are you like a firmer track?
Hey, this horse doesn't matter. He's gone on firm ground, he's gone on soft ground, he's gone on dead ground. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter to him.
Where they take this horse and where he runs, it's just remarkable. It just travels the globe.
If I did that, my wife would leave me, I think. I mean, from
What's that? Travel around the
glasses off. But seriously, after the Melbourne Cup, he's gone to straight to Japan, then to Hong Kong, then to Dubai, back to Japan, and then into Singapore. So I mean, these boys haven't been home for probably a year.
Is there actually any glass in those, or do you just think they look pretty cool?
But so the function looked good today, Craig. Did you get a feed?
No, missed out. But no, it was a good function, the barrier draw. Let's have a look at some track work of Red Cadeaux, and he put in a bit of work on the turf during the week. I'm not sure if we got that vision, but he looked pretty sharp. I think it was on Wednesday morning. He went past us and probably was one of the better track workers during the week.
Yes, continues to go on his way, doesn't he? Drops back from 2 miles up there in Japan at Kyoto, comes back here to Singapore. Here's his run in the Hong Kong Vase, going back to December last year, and wherever they go with this horse, he just runs an enormous race. Let's not forget, his terrific second in the Dubai World Cup as well.
And there's Meandra running on into third with the whitish snip on the face too. So there's a little bit to like about this race. This was 2,000 metres coming back from a 2,400 metre race. My little concern this time is coming back from a 3,200 metre race. I was a little query at the 2,000, but Robin and the team are pretty confident about him.
The reason I've got him on top is also I'm really keen on the Dubai World Cup form. To go to the Dubai World Cup, it's the richest race in the world. The form from that's held up here for the last 2 or 3 years, with the winners coming from that race. He's run second in that race. That's huge. And I'm even tempted to put in the other horses that ran nowhere in the race, because the fact that they're in that race means they're pretty good.
Well, one horse that ran nowhere in the race was Hunter's Light for Godolphin, but he was actually backed into favouritism on the UK bookmakers for that particular race, the Dubai World Cup. His form leading into it was enormous. And he did win a big race in Italy on the turf. So I know Godolphin are fairly keen that this guy's going to run a big race, and he was the first to arrive here almost 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and they've got, after the disappointment last year...
Godolphin will be keen if it goes in the barriers for starters.
Yeah, and they'd love to win this race, and it's great to have them back here, city style. He did look on face value a little disappointing for a 5-2 favourite. Let's not get away from the fact it was a fantastic race last time, but he seemed to have the run, but he didn't quite go on with it, and he was comfortably beaten. But there was a reason why he was favourite, Craig, and that was because he was coming off a string of solid performances, a couple of them on the Tapeta over there in Meydan.
Yeah, he's hit the line strongly here. He's a nice horse, obviously, Hunter's Light. It is good to have Godolphin back, because it just shows the class of the organisation, doesn't it? They must have left Crunchy last year with a shocking taste in their mouth. They got scratched at the barriers, but they just butter up and do it again next year.
Well, the funny thing, I was probably more disappointed. I was really keen on watching the jockey go round.
Barcelona.
He could be the best jockey in the world. We were talking about Zach Purton before. You've got all the good jockeys here, and they add the human element to the race.
Sylvester de Souza, someone was telling me at track work during the week that he is genuine top shelf. So I'm looking forward.
Ride for Godolphin.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing him ride in Singapore. So we wish him all the best. Still got plenty more to talk about as we preview the Singapore Airlines International Cup. We'll take a break. Back with more soon.